But the point here is it's time, actually, as we go back now to the Kyle Rittenhouse story. We just went through hate crimes. But this is remarkable to me. Politifact, and a lot of people actually trust them. And, of course, they're considered authoritative by organizations like YouTube, Twitter,
stupid people,
and Facebook. Yeah, people or dishonest people. And then you can see everyone else just copy-paste the points from Politifact because you'll see them make – it's like copying an Asian's test who's not good at math and making the same math mistakes. That's what happens with John Oliver and CNN when Politifact – gets a verifiable error actually published on their website. So it's time to fact check the fact checkers.
Fact check, fact checkers, fact checkers, fact check. News.
So much fact.
So many.
Which we don't have this here in the If I'm reading quite a bit, it's because I want to get the quotes right, and it's a little bit nerdy. But first, let's set this up so you can all see how John Oliver presented the situation, how it relates to Politifact.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old who travelled there from out of state and was illegally carrying a weapon, killed 2 people. And look, I don't know if he saw the McCloskeys speak the night before he chose to drive to a city he didn't live in to defend property he didn't own. What I do know is that he was an avid Trump supporter, even sitting front row at a rally back in January.
That makes him a fascist.
Trump's media ecosystem have been delivering essentially the same message as the McCloskeys for years now.
And he goes on to describe it as murders, by the way, in there, which is like, I don't know about if he could be another Sandman, Nick Sandman, but it seems to me that alleging that he was illegally carrying a firearm, and also the murder. I get that he's a comedian, but you can't just get things the opposite of true.
Somebody's getting paid after this.
There's editorial license, but you can't say the opposite of something true as though it's true. That was what I understood to be a lie.
He's just saying what he wants to be true.
And I love how is it McCloskeys or McClopskys? I don't know if there's a V in there somewhere.
No.
I love how they're like, thank you. I love how they're the evil people. Like, they're the worst people we can think of. He's just like them. They walked outside with weapons.
But remember, like peaceful protesters. Protesters who took the gates down by the hinges.
And when you hear the audio of what they were threatening to do to them when they were standing out there, you kind of go, oh, okay, I get it.
They make it seem, the way the left tries to present it is that the protesters were walking by and saw a fence, and just slapped squeeze some WD-40 in there like it's a Tin Man. Oh, the McCloskey. Well, let me just make sure that's no one. Hey, guys. No, it was, you need to give up your shit.
Yeah.
Because you're white, fascist. We got a Trumper over here. Bang, bang, like you see in Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump equals fascism. The fact is, you're killing people who support Trump openly. I don't know if you understand what fascism means. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Again, question is, have you seen these race crimes that have been committed, the hate crimes in the name of race in organizations like Black Lives Matter? And have you spotted this? This is the source, the Politifact source. So let me be really clear here. First, Rittenhouse, the defense team, has released a statement about crossing state lines. They said after Kyle finished his work that day as a community lifeguard in Kenosha. Keep in mind when they say he went to a city where he doesn't live, he's a lifeguard there. It's a shorter drive time than most Americans commute, than the average Americans commute. I don't want to be fact checked there. We're like, it's the mean.
I always hate the mean.
Median, mean. The point is, most Americans travel 20 plus minutes per day. That's Kenosha, to where this guy is from in Illinois, and he worked in Kenosha. All right. Lifeguard in Kenosha, Kyle and a friend armed themselves with rifles due to deadly violence, gripping Kenosha and many other American cities, and headed to the business premises. The weapons were in Wisconsin and never crossed state lines.
Big point.
Upon the sound of a gunshot behind him, Kyle Turner was immediately faced. So this goes through exactly what happened with the actual shootings, the killings. All right. If there's, by the way, there's a legal defense fund if you want to give. I think he's been kicked off of GoFundMe. But
he was.
But the child rapist, allegedly, still up there. This is the issue, though, too, is with the Rittenhouse situation, we've talked about this. This is why the left supports Palestine over Israel, despite the fact that they use children as human shields. This is why they support child rapists over people who are exercising their Second Amendment rights, because if you're successful, you're bad. If you're rich, you're bad. If you're poor, you inherently have the moral high ground. If you were killed, you inherently have the moral high ground. How else do you explain Jacob Blake being supported and people completely abstaining from including any information about the woman he sexually assaulted who was of color and actually filed a restraining order and went through the steps?
Who was probably glad the police showed up that day. Probably
she called them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's very thankful that
they
showed up.
That
they
stopped
scene.
Officers listening to me
at the time,
showing here to help. Terrible.
I called you and now you're here. Why?
All right, so let's go to the Politifact article here on the Rittenhouse, because I want everyone, and share this if you can. I usually don't ask that with that self-promotion, but it's important to go. And I found most of this information, hey, AR-15, I believe the message board, I think I found a lot of this information from a poster, a random poster there, because I know it wasn't on Reddit. So Politifact, they were checking whether it was legal for Rittenhouse to open carry, right? This is from Politifact. The Wisconsin Department of Justice honors concealed carry permits issued in Illinois. But Rittenhouse did not have, let's bring it up, did not have a permit to begin with, and he was not legally old enough to carry a firearm in Wisconsin. Here's the truth. Concealed carry permits apply to a weapon being concealed and carried.
Oh, it's in the name.
They're typically designed for pistols because it's difficult to conceal a long gun, a rifle, unless you're mounting on each other's shoulders like little rascals in a trench coat.
But it's effective.
Oh my gosh.
So that's irrelevant. I don't want to spend too much time on it.
No.
But here's another claim, again from Politifact. Wisconsin law stipulates that any person under 18 years of age who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. Politifact links to the wrong section here. They link to section 948605, bracket 2, 1M. Sorry, this is getting nerdy. Instead of 948601. And they failed to include the information from that same section that, by the way, invalidates the prior clause. Let me read it for you. It states that any person under 18 years of age who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. However, then it says this section applies only to a person under 18 years of age who possesses or is armed with a rifle or shotgun if the person is in violation of S94128 or is not in compliance. In other words, this is the context. You didn't provide it, Politifact, and even if you had, you linked to the wrong portion.
And you would have been wrong on your fact check anyway, even if you'd gotten the right one.
And that's where John Oliver gets it so wrong. So why would Politifact lie? Why do you lie?
They could also be stupid.
I cannot ask a robin why it sings, sir. These things are what they are. Do not blame me. Here's another one that I really love from Politifact. Oh, by the way, let them know when we if I'm hitting these facts if they're correct. This is from Politifact. John Monroe, an attorney who specializes in gun rights, told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that there's an exception for rifles and shotguns, which is aimed at letting children ages 16 and 17 hunt that could apply. But Rittenhouse wasn't in Kenosha to hunt. Here's the truth. In the original write-up, that guy who they cite, Monroe, said that he believes the law would apply regardless. Monroe said this, except if you go to the article, Monroe's saying, oh, no, I'm not saying that.
Fact check.
We have to do their jobs.
So
for
is
them
he down there
sometimes.
to hunt, or is he not there to hunt?
It's not relevant here.
No, we would call that
flip-flop.
irrelevant.
Bill, and by the way, this is one of those things, let's just keep in mind, this is what they're focusing on because the self-defense claim seems to, even New York Times said it's airtight.
Exactly.
Okay, so they want to focus on the misdemeanor.
Yep.
And if he happened to be illegally carrying a firearm, that is a misdemeanor, it's not relevant to the charges of murder in the first degree. And you guys argued that because you said that it wasn't relevant when Michael Brown committed a violent crime at a convenience store on his way to commit another violent crime against the officer. I would say that's more relevant than a guy bringing a firearm to defend himself.
Yes.
And some people saying, well, why would he bring a firearm? He shot a man in the bicep who was aiming a gun at his head. He brought a firearm because they had firearms first. If we're going to apply this outrage that someone had a gun, how about the guy who was trying to kill him execution style? That's the pertinent information here. Was he defending life and limb? And Half-Asian Bill, you had a point here that we were talking about the laws.
When we're looking, so every law has its own laws, right? So when the facts were coming out, every state has its own laws. When those laws were coming out and people were talking about them in the wake of the Rittenhouse shooting, there was a lot of questions, right? I even remember texting with friends and folks on the show was like, well, here are going to be some of the important facts. Where did he get the gun? Where did he bring it? Did he have a card? Did he not have a card? Was it in one state versus another? You know, because there's a lot of different facts. But when you look at the act, now everyone agrees. Here's where the gun was. Here's the statute that applies. And they just want to focus on the top part, but not the bottom part. Right. And it's incredible. It's something that is, they can't walk it back now.
I haven't seen any legitimate lawyers, including on the left, say that it's outright illegal.
No.
He was carrying an illegal firearm. Even the guy, that's why I think when Politifact is citing a guy who says the opposite of what they say, they really want him to say what they said he said, though.
Fact checkers. Fact checkers. Fact check. News.